on Mythbusters.
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Danger at the gas pump. Are cell phones triggering deadly explosions? Can high altitudes cause big problems for silicon implants?
If I were in there with the breast implants, I'd probably be dead about now.
And computer drives. Have they reached dangerous warp speeds?
Oh my God, it's a horror show.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage.
That's right, you've got some kind of bogus minister thing.
It's not a bogus ministry. I performed a dozen weddings already.
And Jamie Heineman.
Farewell, cruel world.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
Feel kind of sexy.
They don't just tell the myths. They put them to the test.
Hey, wake up, farm boy.
What?
Can you help me with directions to Antioch? I'm lost. So what are we doing at the Stoke Gas and Oil Memorabilia Town in Santa Rosa, California?
Well, we're here to see whether you can accidentally blow up a gas station with a cell phone.
And even if we fail, do we still get to blow something up?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
So what exactly is this myth?
Well, it's an email myth that says that the use of a cell phone near a gas station could cause an accidental explosion. And in fact, people have bought into this, and on some gas stations near the gas pumps, you can see a sign saying, please don't use your cell phone here.
But also, it's a very good story, and a very good story is very powerful and promotes belief.
Heather Joseph Witham, resident folklorist, has another dramatic cell phone explosion story.
Well, the story goes that there's an executive speeding along on the freeway in Los Angeles, and all of a sudden he hears the ding, 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 and looks down and he sees that his car is just about out of gas. So cursing and frustrated, he gets off the freeway, he drives up to a gas station, gets out, starts pumping the gas, takes out his cell phone, and calls the office. At which point, there's a tremendous fireball that engulfs the executive, and then the entire gas station explodes.
There have been more than 150 gas station fires across the United States since the early 90s. Could cell phones be the culprit? The Stoke Gas and Oil Memorabilia Town is an ideal location for road testing the cell phone myth.
What are you doing?
It's kind of a lowrider.
Fred Stoke used to collect tractor parts until oil cans proved to be more rewarding.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
This is the largest one-quart oil can collection in the world. There's over 10,000 different cans here.
I'm gonna do my house like this. Well, we're going to need a big blast chamber, something large enough to contain a large explosion and protect us, and also to control environmental conditions like humidity and temperature and that kind of thing. We're going to need gas and a way to get it in there in a vapor form, and we're going to put a cell phone in there and call it, see what happens.
The chamber will be constructed from Lexan, a polycarbonate product favored by race car drivers and jet pilots.
I find this very appealing.
Polycarbonate is a plastic that is extremely tough. You can about fold it in half and it won't break. It'll stop a bullet, it'll stop all sorts of shrapnel, and I just love this stuff. I love it.
Anticipating a big bang, the guys are constructing the chamber with a failure point, the center of the two halves of the box.
So that if the blast is too big, instead of the Lexan failing or the aluminum welds failing, the box itself will just poof, separate into two halves.
Like a clamp.
Yeah. The blast we might deal with might be a lot larger than we think, and so building in a failure point for this so that it can fail safe seems like a good idea.
Plus it'll look really cool.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely look really cool.
Considering Americans pump gas around 12 billion times a year, there are plenty of opportunities for disaster. Electrical sparks and gasoline vapors are a potent mix, and it seems there is much more to this story.
You know, I think it's highly unlikely that a cell phone is going to do this. You know, it seems like a dumb idea to me.
Well, actually, it turns out that there's another part to this myth. It seems that women are largely responsible for the gas station explosions, specifically because they get in and out of their cars while filling up. And so they'll build up a static charge on their body, and then when they touch either the gas tank lip or the filler nozzle, that will ignite the gas and cause an explosion.
That seems more likely.
I think so.
Over 50% of the accidents occur when a person re-enters her car while refueling.
Bob Renkus of the Petroleum Equipment Institute has studied the hard data. 10 years of statistics place women in the most danger.
We've had 152 cases now that we've confirmed. 78% are women, 22% are men.
The problem comes from getting back into the car while refueling. Electrostatic charges are generated on the seat and clothing due to movement. Getting out takes the charge with you. So if your first touch is near the open fuel tank, the resulting discharge spark could be deadly.
So, silver car, not getting in, he's done.
A Mythbusters stakeout showed very clearly that women were more likely to get back into the car while the gas was pumping.
When you broke it down to percentages, women were actually 6 times more likely to get back in their cars than men were.
To investigate this second theory, static electricity, they'll also need to build a device that generates body-to-clothing friction and hopefully create a big spark. So the Mythbusters are shopping for something shocking.
So do you ever have customers come in and say, could you sell me something different? This one causes too much static shock when I wear it?
No, but they've said this causes too much shock.
All right. Yeah, we have to define our terms here, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Should we get 2? 2 of each?
Why do we need 2?
Well, one for each of us to wear.
Well, if we're going to get 2 of them, we might as well get...
Yeah, why don't we get one of those and one of the regular ones? Sure.
Yeah.
The experiment is now focused on creating and storing a strong spark. No one will be allowed inside the blast chamber, so the spark has to be discharged remotely.
So this is called a Leyden jar, and it's actually just Tupperware with foil on the inside and foil on the outside. And it's an early capacitor, which is basically an energy storage device.
Around 1750, in the Dutch city of Leiden, scientists discovered that 2 conductors separated by an insulator could store an electrical charge. Benjamin Franklin used it to shock his party guests, who stood in a circle while the current surged through them. Not a stunt for people with weak hearts.
So the electrons are leaping off the PVC and being stored in the Leyden jar. Ooh, all right, good. Oh. Wow, I got like 3 shocks from there.
With the shocking garments in hand, they're off to the auto yard to find a suitable car seat.
You think we could build some panty friction in the bed here?
Well, that's what it's for, isn't it?
Well, we won't be the first. Ow! Ugh. These panties had no idea what they were in for. This is like where panties go when they've been very, very bad. I mean, I don't know which one actually to go with anymore. At this point, it's just like a sea of rubbing and vinyl and wet car seats. It's like high school. That's actually good. I got more of a charge off of this than anything yet.
They have the seat of choice, but will it provide the necessary charge?
I don't see any sparks.
Watch this.
Ooh.
Back at Fred Stokes Gas Museum, the fire department has arrived to supervise the experiment. So, is it cell phones or static sparks that cause gas station fires?
Well, let me see. We've got a crash test dummy with his legs removed. We've got a panty-static generator with leopard fur and panties wrapped around it. It's not exactly hard science.
Nonetheless, the firemen want a much smaller bank. Too much gasoline vapor inside the chamber, and it becomes a very large bomb.
What's the potential? What could go wrong?
Break all the windows around here. You know, that'd probably be the worst case.
I don't want to see that happen.
Jamie wants a big boom.
Down, boy. Down, boy. He's being a little conservative, which is his job, and I appreciate that. We will still try to get the biggest explosion we can.
Time for the fire protection suit. Delivering the gasoline to the chamber is Jamie's responsibility. He will use an aerosol device to spray high concentrations of flammable fuel vapor directly inside the blast chamber.
So I rigged up the cell phone in there.
Okay.
When I call it, it says detonate.
Very cute. Okay, we're gonna start the fuel. You guys ready?
For gas to explode, you need the right mix of fuel and air. As the concentration edges towards the flammable level, their gas meter emits a warning.
Okay.
Go behind the thing.
The chamber is primed and ready for the cell phone blast test.
Calling now. Hello, explosion. Hello? Hello? He never answers his phone.
Both Jamie and Adam are confident the cell phone won't cause an explosion. It creates heat, but not enough to cause ignition. Time to test the second theory.
Okay, guys, we're done with the cell phone and we're going to the panty-static generator.
Keep as many unnecessary people back.
Okay.
I really have some concerns about that thing. I really do.
Okay. All right. I will tell everybody. Thank you. You know, you'll notice the firemen are all kind of standing a lot further back than we are.
Yeah.
So this is not to be toyed around with. It is a bomb. Okay?
Okay.
With the chamber saturated in gasoline, it's time now for Adam's panty-static generator to spark an explosion.
All right, we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We should have had a spark right about then. Come on, baby. Okay, I've gone through what should have been like at least 3 sparks so far.
Okay.
Even with sparks and the heavy fuel load, the gas will only blow if conditions are absolutely optimal. So far, nothing is happening.
How hard can it be to blow up a room full of gasoline?
My guess is just wrong mixture. Just that simple. Wrong mixture.
That's it. We're packing up and we're gonna go home. With our tail between our legs.
So it's back to the drawing board to see if cell phones or static sparks can cause gas pump fires. Ignition is still proving to be difficult, but the personal flashpoint is rising.
Wait, hold on, Adam, before you break up all afternoon's work. Give me just.
I thought all 4 sides were taped.
You're a nice guy and all, but sometimes you're a bull in a china shop.
I'm not going to respond to that.
Working with a smaller blast box should help them figure out the right fuel-air mix to achieve ignition.
You know, all of that spray presents a lot of surface area, and I think it's probably sinking down and collecting right at the ground. My guess is that one of our mistakes with the big chamber was that we had the ignition source too far above the ground. So let's just see whether this works.
To get a bigger spark, Jamie connects a device called a Jacob's ladder. You'll be familiar with its climbing arc from those old science fiction movies. But this is no toy. It's high voltage and potentially lethal.
Now be careful on this metal. You know, we've got some pretty heavy-duty currents here, so.
All right, shall we lose the spark and get some gasoline going and blow some stuff up in miniature?
Is gasoline flammable? You'll find out after this.
4, 3, 2. Hey, we made something blow up. We made something blow up.
Adam has improved his Leyden jar. The heavy-duty version will provide a potent spark. And finally, they are getting an ideal blend of fuel and air.
Well, I lost a lot of hair on my arm. How about that? It definitely works. Okay, now I'm afraid.
Adding more gasoline won't guarantee a bigger
You
blast.
watch yourself there, hombre.
The critical mix needs more air.
That's probably it. That's probably all that it takes. Do you think there's anything left of a fume in there?
Go, go, go.
Okay, here I go.
Let's talk more sparks.
Stop your grinning and grab your linen. Here we go. Oh! The Heinemann was right.
We now know exactly what kind of concentration of fuel that we have to have for ignition. We know that we can create a spark from static electricity off of fabric, and we know that it is something that we have to be very careful with.
I'm fine. Am I missing an eyebrow? I am missing an eyebrow, aren't I?
You lost a lot of hair up there.
You're kidding me.
No. You're all right. It's not gonna. It won't look weird after a day or two. I think it took him about 5 seconds to worry about whether he's going to look funny for his date.
I have a date tomorrow.
Is it survival more important or sex?
All in the name of science. Okay, that was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done.
No problem now with the static spark. The mix is right and ignition comes easily. But what about the cell phone? Will it prove to be the cause of gas station fires?
Nada. Niente. Second call. No explosion.
So, Bob, have you heard of this myth regarding exploding a gas station by using a cell phone?
Not only did I hear of it, I'm quoted in the myth that says, Mr. Rinkus says, don't use cell phones. They can cause fire at the pump. That email's gone around, and people take that literally because they are believing everything they see in emails, unfortunately.
After researching hundreds of gas station fires, Bob Rinkus of the Petroleum Equipment Institute says cell phones are in the clear.
Pure and simple, we don't have any accidents involving a cell phone at a service station. It just doesn't happen.
But a dramatic fire department demonstration clearly shows what can happen when static is involved. People who re-enter the car during refueling face the biggest risk.
They're typically younger people, because older people will go like this to get out of their car. And when they do that, they discharge. So they just simply pop out of the car, not touch anything, not shut the door, not ground themselves, not touch this. They'll take 1, 2 steps. They're wearing neoprene shoes, so they're not discharging, they're not dissipating on the concrete. They touch a piece of metal here. The vapors are coming out of the tank. The air is coming in from outside, so that's 2 parts of the fire triangle, and the third part is a source of ignition, which is the spark. The problem comes is when they overreact, they go, oh my goodness, and they leave a stream of gasoline. They already have a fire, it gets underneath the car, or they could get it on themselves.
With the cell phone myth well and truly busted, they still want to make their own big static bank. So they're back at Fred Stokes Gasoline Museum with the fire department there to monitor safety.
You're gonna pump the whole thing in there.
It's make or break time. So today the guys are using a much higher concentration of gas in a much finer spray.
Okay, that's it.
All right, here we go. Watching for spark.
Despite a heavy saturation of gasoline vapors, still no blast.
This is a pain in the butt. You know, we got the darn thing so it's foggy with gas fumes in there, and no boom. What are you gonna do?
Leyden jar, I am finished with you.
Desperate to get their big bang, the boys decide to use extra juice.
Good spark.
That good?
Yeah.
We're using a spark that's actually a smaller spark in terms of the kilovolts, but it's longer. We're using neon transformer to generate it, but it lasts as long as we want. So I feel totally confident we're gonna get the concussive boom that we want right now.
Okay, Adam, let's get ready.
Come on, okay, here we go. Stand by.
I feel like something's gonna happen this time.
In 3, 2, 1. Wow, I forgot to watch. That was really cool. Right on. Whew. Hey, we got it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of force.
Yes, it was.
That burst apart this 24-foot seam of metal tape.
Well, it's about time, huh?
It's about time. Absolutely right.
Don't be fooled. Gasoline vapors and a strong spark under the right conditions spell danger at the fuel pump.
Bob, what is your recommendation if there is a spark, if there is ignition? What should you do?
If you discharge here and you get a spark, don't be a hero. Don't take your nozzle out. Your gas tank will contain the gasoline. We don't want any gasoline spilling on the forecourt or on the pavement. Stand away and notify the station immediately.
Adam, what do you reckon? Myth busted?
Absolutely. This myth is definitely busted. No cell phone will ever cause a gas station to ignite. Just not going to happen.
I agree.
Jamie,
Yo.
I got breasts. Check this out.
There's a myth that when you go up in an airplane, the reduction in pressure will explode your implants.
The basic story is that there's a woman with silicone implants on an airplane, and there's a depressurized cabin because it's a local flight, perhaps from LA to San Francisco. And as the plane goes higher, the implants get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until finally they explode as she's walking down the aisle to the lavatory to see what's going on with her implants.
There we go. Oh, sample not for implant.
One size fits all. There's not like a bigger or smaller one.
So we've got the implants, right? What else are we going to need for this, Jamie?
We've got to have a chamber that will handle both pressure and, vacuum.
So positive and negative pressure.
Yeah, and we've got to have a vacuum pump or pressure pump, and to make it look good, put the implants in a body of some sort, maybe
The ballistics gelatin would be perfect for that. We could make up a torso out of the ballistics gel and then put the implants in. It'd be very close to his skin, so we could probably see, if there was any real movement.
And the gel is clear, so we can see what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, that's weird. You know what? Since I've never owned a pair, I don't know what they're supposed to feel like, but these feel pretty good. It just makes me feel more like a woman.
Right, it's giving me the creeps. Take those off.
When you do it for cosmetic purposes, probably over 100,000 patients a year have breast augmentation. For that group,
Plastic surgeon Dr. Gregory Georgiade knows his implants. He's performed thousands of procedures over 25 years.
I have heard the myth, and you'd be not infrequently asked by patients, who had active lifestyles if they were going to skin dive, what would happen in their implants or what would happen in decompression in an airplane. And that was a common question.
Have you ever heard any fantastic stories about this actually occurring?
No, I never really have heard any fantastic stories. I have no first-hand experience with a patient that had a, quote, blowout at altitude along the way. But lots of people were worried about it, shall we say.
Adam and Jamie are back in familiar territory, surrounded by scrap metal and high-tech surplus.
I love this place. I spend every Saturday that I get a chance down here. They have coffee and donuts, cryo containers, beer kegs. What else we got?
They're looking for a tank to convert to a chamber. They want to reproduce the altitude pressures that may cause an implant to expand or explode.
It's like the world's most expensive garbage can.
Yeah. Now there's a tank. Unfortunately, it feels like it's maybe 2,000 pounds or so. I see one back here that's starting to look like...
Oh my Lord! You have to come here and look at this.
By the looks of this is, not ultra high pressure, but it's pretty good. Look at the thickness on those. I love it when I find this kind of stuff. I mean, this is so cool. This is like sci-fi right here. Probably cost somebody maybe 30 or 50 grand new, I don't know. But it's just a beautiful piece of hardware. I get such a kick out of this stuff.
How much does he want for it?
It's going to be by the weight of the aluminum, I'm sure.
God bless them. I don't care what it was. Just tell me how much it weighs. So I'm gonna try and implant these in a fake woman.
The first step towards exploding the implant myth is to modify a store dummy. A heat vacuum appliance is used to make a plastic mold of the torso that will hold the implants. Always looking to match reality, Adam will suspend the implants in the ballistics gel.
So if we let this sit for 20 or 30 minutes, the ice against the skin should make that layer of ballistic gel harden, but not the rest. We should end up with a nice fleshy barrier, about that thick maybe.
The skin layer takes about 10 minutes to form.
It's perfect, actually. Yeah, I've got a layer of skin here that's actually like 3/16 of an inch thick. It's not bad.
Now it's just a matter of putting the implants into place.
The silicone is actually a little bit lighter in density than the water, but I push them down in and hopefully suction will keep them at the bottom. They're looking pretty good right now. I'm gonna wash my hands and check in 20 minutes.
The important job is to make the chamber as airtight as possible. Some portholes are welded shut, while others are replaced. And finally, an air pressure gauge is fitted. Adam's gelatin torso has set. The implants are holding.
Go. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Oh my God, I've done it! All right.
As a parallel experiment, Jamie places an implant in a jug of water. Any changes should be easy to see.
If we find that the implant is actually expanding, the water level will raise, and we can measure that.
Adam calibrates an easy-to-read altitude guide for the gauge.
The chamber is sealed.
So are we ready to go?
For the first test, the implants are subjected to typical in-flight cabin pressure, which for passenger comfort is equivalent to around 8,000 feet above sea level.
Okay. There.
What I see is the bubbles that were on the surface of the implant have gotten larger, and it's maybe raised the water level a minuscule amount as a result of that.
Right.
But I don't see any expansion of the breast itself.
All right, shall we take it up to, let's say, 30,000 feet?
The big test comes as the chamber matches an altitude of around 30,000 feet, an impossible height for humans unless flying in a pressurized cabin.
I mean, it doesn't look like much, but if I were in there with the breast implants, I'd probably be dead about now. Your lungs would fill with fluid, your head would, compress. There's a whole bunch of conditions. None of them are pretty. You'd probably pass away in about 10 minutes at that height.
Despite the negative pressure of high flying, the implants appear unchanged.
We've seen the implants at about 8,000 feet. Then we bumped it up to around 35,000 feet or so. And in both cases, we've seen expansion of little air bubbles around the things to some degree, but the implants themselves have shown no significant increase in volume.
Adam had a theory that injecting the implants with air might force a failure.
I added some air to each of the implants. To the right one, I added 3 cc's of air. To the left one, I added 10 cc's of air. There we go.
Yeah, we're at about 35,000 feet now.
I'm not really noticing any significant change in the air pockets. We definitely know that air can expand really well. We got a balloon in there, and the balloon's been blowing up to twice its volume, but the air inside the implants is not. I didn't really notice any difference at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, effectively nothing.
Nothing much happening at altitude, so Jamie hooks up a small chamber to emulate the high pressures of deep sea diving. He didn't figure on explosive results.
We had a seal blow. Are you guys all right?
It sounded like you shot an elephant.
Yeah, it kind of hurt my ears too.
No one hurt, but Jamie had a close call. Rapid changes in pressure can cause serious hearing damage. No changes to the implant at high pressure, so it's back to the large chamber for another low pressure altitude test. Within a few minutes, it's taken the equivalent of a rapid trip from the ocean's floor to the summit of Everest.
Shall we go up to 30,000 feet? Okay. I don't see nothing.
I don't see any air bubbles. I don't see any noticeable difference.
So this replicated someone diving in water and then immediately getting into a plane?
Yes.
So effectively no difference.
Scientists at Duke University have been studying the rigors of pressure on the human body for many years.
This is the main clinical chamber here. Watch your heads again. And the actual chamber is compressed with air.
Dr. Richard Vann from Duke University's Center for Hyperbaric Medicine knows all about pressure and the concerns of people with implants.
We had several questions that came in with regard to breast implants as to whether there were any hazards with regard to diving. And as a result, we decided we might do a study, and so we approached some of the plastic surgeons who we'd been working with.
Well, we found that basically in anything that the patient could survive, it wasn't going to be an issue.
Plastic surgeon Dr. Gregory Georgiade provided subjects for the implant pressure tests at Duke's hyperbaric lab. The results were convincing.
Basically what we have here is we have two implants that were initially the same size. And I expanded it by about 50%, which is the maximum volume expansion we could find in the studies we did, to show you what the implant would look like. And you can see it's 50% bigger. The implant could double or triple its total volume before the shell is ever going to break. So it isn't going to be an issue. And a patient that had this happen would have been dead because of the nitrogen bubbles that ended up in their brain with the bends long before the implant got to this size.
So why do you think people were worried about this to begin with?
Well, I think they were worried about it because the supermarket tabloids had got their attention. And that it's another good story along with Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
The myth of the exploding implant appears to be well and truly busted.
I got to do it really hard, right?
No, you can't. Oh, God, God.
But the story has one more chapter.
Adam now tries an inflatable brassiere. Jamie, you want to tie me up?
An earlier version of this narrative that took place in the 1950s dealt with a national sales manager for the inflatable bra, was on, again, a flight in a depressurized plane. She was wearing her product, as any good salesperson would, and as the plane got higher, her bra got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the other passengers were kind of starting to freak out, so she had to go spend the rest of the flight in the cabin with the pilots, which you couldn't do these days.
Okay, wow, that sucks. That sound? That's really bad.
Adam volunteers to give the inflatable bra a personal test at 8,000 feet.
Go for tank depressurization. Slowly in increments.
Adam, how are they doing? Are they getting bigger?
Roger that, Mission Control. My breasts are expanding. Repeat, breasts are expanding. They're definitely getting firmer, but nothing exploded, unfortunately. You know, these don't really change that much. I mean, they've got vinyl enclosures. They're going to be pretty resilient to pressure. But, you know, they were definitely firmer at 8,000 feet, but not by much.
Well, do you want to go all the way?
Hello, camera.
Shall we take it up to 40,000?
Let's do that, but not with me in them.
Okay.
Jamie is keen to push the inflatable inserts to the limit. There should be obvious changes at 40,000 feet.
Those puppies are looking pretty taut. Looks like they're about twice the volume that they started out with or so.
These things are quite resilient. I'm not sure they're going to blow.
Even at an intolerable 40,000 feet, these inflatable inserts are in no danger of exploding.
What do you think? We can see them all expanding individually.
Always looking for a novel twist, the Mythbusters loaded food items into the tank for some frivolous science.
Hey, the marshmallows are definitely expanding. They're lethal. Oh, hey, we have a rupture in one of our cream-filled cakes. Look at that.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. I'd say the snowballs are much larger now. They're coming off the plate. I think this just goes to show that if you're a paratrooper and you got one of these cream-filled confections in your pocket of your uniform, you better be careful. So, Heinemann, exploding implants, what do we get?
No results, no expansion whatsoever on these things.
You're more in danger of your cannoli rupturing than your implants actually exploding.
Your cannoli?
Cannoli, it's Italian pastry that's cream-filled.
Oh, okay.
It's not a euphemism.
Okay. So, as far as I'm concerned, myth busted.
Oh, definitively busted, absolutely. Oh, must test CD-ROM. It turns out that with the brand new extremely high-speed drives, they may actually be exceeding the structural capabilities of the CDs themselves and shattering them into tons of pieces, sometimes even leaving the computer.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're actually going to try and do this. We're going to try and speed up a bunch of CDs under a bunch of conditions and get them to explode in all sorts of spectacular ways.
I like that.
Yeah.
Along with the computer drive, they will adapt some high-speed tools to spin the CDs beyond 30,000 RPM. At that point, they expect to see critical failure.
You know, this could be dangerous.
Absolutely. In fact, sharp fragments of polycarbonate are going to be traveling in excess of like 700 miles per hour. I think to test to see if it can penetrate skin, we'll put our ballistics dummy in there.
I think so.
I think he's perfectly suited to sit in front of this computer and be abused. We are driving through Silicon Valley on our way to one of the largest computer recyclers in the Bay Area, and if anyone's going to have a high-speed, like 52-speed CD-ROM drive for us to test, it's going to be them. If there's something better than a computer store and a shopping cart, I'm not sure what it is. This is Adam's Life 3.0. I need to get a couple towers to put these in. What I'm trying to test is the idea that, you know, these ultra-fast drives have actually exceeded the physical limitations of the CDs and shattered them inside the case. Have you guys ever had that happen?
There has been a couple cases. One customer in particular did bring back a CD-ROM drive. Had some contents rattling inside. As we opened it up, we discovered that the CD itself is shattered completely into many, many pieces. That's the one I remember notably.
Yeah.
That sticks out in my mind.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's get this one. 145.
145.
Hey, how about that?
Okay. Good enough?
That's good enough.
Right.
Yeah. We'll take it back to the lab and destroy it.
CD manufacturers are aware of developments. David Bunzel from the Optical Storage Association has been tracking the stories.
And it seems that much of it relates back to an article that was generated by a PC journalist based in Sweden. And he was able to do some testing that he suggested at 30,000 RPM, which would approximate a 52x CD-ROM drive, that they would explode. Over time, we've talked to various people in the industry, and it seems to be very difficult to replicate.
To replicate the CD shattering experience, Adam exposed some computer disks to the kind of treatment imposed on them by users. CDs that blew apart in computer drives may have been damaged by sunlight, corrosive spills, or normal wear and tear. To test this myth realistically, a few CDs had to be sacrificed.
Cracked, exposed to sunlight, 24 hours. Rubbing alcohol, microwave, off-center label, expensive name brand control CD. See how it does. I've just installed Windows on this computer so that I can install this drive externally, and hopefully we'll be able to operate it while being able to view the CD spinning. And the high-speed camera ought to catch the point of failure if there is one. If there isn't, we're going to make one.
Speed is the key for busting this myth. Computer drives rated at 52 times will be spinning CDs at around 30,000 revolutions per minute. Some disks may disintegrate at this point. Others may require much higher stresses to induce failure.
What do you think about that?
Jamie's quest for more speed involves adapting electrical hand tools and fitting CDs where they weren't meant to go.
Oh no.
Is that sweet or what?
No, it's pretty special.
Worth a trip to the store?
How fast is it?
This is rated for 10,000 RPM. So I'm going to run the 30,000 RPM router into this and out the other side.
Are you sure that this is a balanced enough mechanism to handle 6 times its current load?
It says it's heavy duty.
Adam is cooking up a ballistics dummy to be placed in the shatter zone for a dramatic demonstration of possible injury. It's made from gelatin, a substance which, when set, closely matches human skin and flesh.
Wish I could understand why we can't get this to spin up to its full speed. We've done everything we can to get it to max out, and it may just be that the computer's not fast enough to read it as fast as 56 speed.
The budget computer failed with the latest 56 times drive, achieving only 20,000 RPM, nowhere near fast enough. It should be pushing at least 30,000. Jamie has another plan.
Frankly, I'm terrified of Jamie's drive. He's built the equivalent of a 300-speed drive in there. I don't want to be anywhere near it, and I'm really glad we have it contained in the blast chamber because the drive itself may fail catastrophically.
Jamie is adding more power to the equation. He's adapted a super fast motor and plugged it into a variable speed controller.
Now this motor is set up to go maybe 90,000 RPM, if not for the drag on it. I'm guessing it might go like 80. Ought to go faster than it's supposed to, though.
Oh, this is cool.
Wow.
Look at me, I'm a god.
Doesn't look much like you, Adam.
Looks exactly like me, look at that. You know, I've always wanted a 6-pack. Closer to the center. Okay, there we go. All right. Doctor, the patient is ready.
Revving CDs up to demolition speed is the aim. Jamie's customized drive is about to get its chance.
Contact. Whoa. Oh my God. Faster, faster! That's all of it?
Yeah. It's only reading 20,000.
That might be as fast as it can spin something like a CD. The friction with the air makes it have to draw more amps in order to do it.
We'd do better direct drive right off of the router, and I know it would spin that up.
They're still unable to get to the required 30,000 RPM, but the workshop has other fast tools.
Lathe, 2,000 RPM. Bench grinder, 3,500 RPM. Dental drill, 60,000 RPM. Air turbine. I'm not sure how fast it's going, but it's awful fast. I mean, there it is.
None of those tools were suitable, so they purchased a tougher, faster router to direct drive some of the damaged CDs.
Really need to see some explosions now. We've got the microwave CD.
Okay.
That one's been severely stressed.
Adam is convinced the CD he fried in the microwave will not withstand the forces.
All the way, baby. All the way. Come on! Yes! Could this be it?
Everything else is coming off.
Oh! Yes! It just goes to show that you shouldn't microwave a CD and then put it in your drive.
But what happened to the ballistics dummy?
Oh my God, that's a horror show. Look at this. It's embedded like 2 inches into his flesh. That's bad.
To imitate a computer drive, Adam and Jamie set up a high-speed run with a CD mounted in its plastic tray.
Ready? Here we go. That's 25,000, 24. See, I'd turn my computer off if it was making that noise. Oh!
Well,
In
there
the
you
tray.
go.
We got failure at 25,000 RPM.
In the tray.
Absolutely, and that was a control one. We didn't damage that one at all. That CD was whole and intact. And the tray made it fail pretty quickly.
Yeah, and you can smell the burning plastic from it.
Yeah, here, look.
Yeah.
Even the computer drive's metal shield is given a solid microwaved CD workout.
That's spectacular. Look at the damage it did to this case. I mean, it spread the sides out.
Yeah, little dent marks.
Yeah, dented the steel.
It's like hitting it with a hammer.
If the high-speed 52 and 56 times drives are already causing some disks to shatter, what does the future hold?
So, David, are we going to see 100x drives, 200? Where's it going to stop?
I wouldn't really expect the optical drives to go much past the 52x range. I think what you're going to see in terms of increased capacity is going to be done more with different types of lasers, different technology unpacking the bits tighter on the disk. And their speed is not as critical of an issue, so you will probably not even need the 52x to be able to accomplish this.
You ready to ramp it up to double speed?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go, Spin Man.
So far, most undamaged control CDs have withstood standard spin forces. Only one disintegrated. Slow-motion pictures show them warping, but not shattering. But Jamie and Adam want mass destruction. They switch from 110 volts to a potent 220. It's party time.
You ready, Baldy?
Wait. Okay,
Ready?
And unplug it right after you're done.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Next one. It's like lighting a match under the thing. Okay, next one. Next one. Oh, couldn't take it.
Plug it. I think it actually blew the router, though. We're done, I guess.
I think we've done a good day's work here.
Any day we create that much shrapnel is a good day.
That's astounding. I mean, it's like almost like Christmas. So listen, even if one blew up in your computer, would you be at risk?
No.
Why not?
Well, maybe if you open the thing up and put your eye right in there, but...
See, that's just the sort of thing I might do.
Well, there are easier ways to poke your eye out, I suppose.
Now, are you worried about CDs exploding in your computers?
No. I have three computers that sit around me, and I don't sit there with any concern that I'm going to have fragments flying at me.
Given the millions and millions of CDs that are out there being burned all the time, and the maybe dozen cases that we've heard of this happening, it's pretty much almost a non-event.
I agree.
It's not something the average buyer has to worry about.
Highly, highly unlikely.